Welcome back to the Center Car Care YouTube channel. Not all of us are professional detailers, so today we're going to talk about spots you miss while washing your vehicle. The first area you miss washing your car is your gas hatch. How many times have you washed your car, then went to the gas station afterwards, then you realize, oh wow, the inside of my gas hatch is filthy. Occasionally you even see people's vehicles who have not cleaned this in a while. You see a nice clean vehicle, but a big streak going down the side because that water runs down into here, collects, and then runs down off the side of the vehicle, making this a big streak going down the sides. So when you're going in here to clean this, we have some all-purpose cleaner to break up the grime. I'm gonna just treat that quickly with all-purpose cleaner. I like to spray a little bit into a brush. Then we're just gonna go through and scrub down this area. After we're done scrubbing it, we're just gonna hit it with a pressure washer and it'll be all nice and clean. Couple extra seconds and that will not be an issue for many more months until it rebuilds up that grime again. If your car doesn't have the gas cap like this one, just be careful, obviously you're not spraying it directly into the gas hatch. It has areas that'll block off that chemical from going down inside there, but obviously just use your head, clean it appropriately. Now the tricky part, when you go to rinse it out with a pressure washer, again, if you don't have a gas cap, keep in mind, don't just spray it directly into there, because obviously it would be just like a gas pump. You'll spray it down into the gas tank, and you don't want water in your gas. But if you do have a gas cap like this, you can use a pressure washer. If you don't, maybe just use a hose or even a bottle of water if you want, just spray it kind of down in there. But if you're using a pressure washer, this is like a really common area for that water just to hit there, come and fly right back in your face. So use your head. Usually I like to partially close the gas cap. Just like that, nice clean gas hatch. I usually like to do this before I wash the vehicle. That way if there's any excess, there's gonna be excess. Then you can just wash it when you're washing a regular vehicle and you got that nice clean area in there that's not gonna bleed dirt down into your other surfaces that are clean. All right, now on to the next one. Now it's no surprise, you obviously gotta clean your wheels individually just to kind of get that the best clean, but the most commonly missed area for people that aren't professional detailers will be in the wheel barrels here. So it's behind these front spokes, kind of up inside of there. Might not be important to some people if you can't really see it, but if you have like any kind of chrome wheel or some alloy wheels, if you don't clean in there, that brake dust builds up and they can corrode away those wheels. It can even lead to cracking a rim. So if you have like a Mercedes or BMW, I think you can probably attest that after that starts to corrode, a lot of times they'll face cracking in those wheels. You know, I've seen it personally. And also in these wheel wells here, if you don't get that cleaned up, eventually if, like up here in the Northeast where we have salt, that's just gonna lead to corrosion inside the wheel well area, especially if you think like in the back of a pickup truck in the bed, it'll start rotting away the bed in there. So usually like to take a wheel cleaner, spray it up inside of here, give that a second to dwell and break down any kind of grime, and then we go through with a brush and just kind of scrub in there. This one has carpeted wheel wells, so it's a little bit tougher to scrub it, but you're just gonna make sure you pressure wash it real good. In the barrels, you wanna just kind of spray the wheel cleaner up inside of those pretty good. And then honestly, the only real good ways of cleaning these without taking the wheel off is get yourself one of these kind of wheel brushes, and it goes right in there and scrubs in those barrels to be able to break that brake dust loose. You're gonna have a hard time just spraying any kind of chemical in there and just having it eat away itself. You're gonna need some kind of agitation, so these brushes work really good for that. This one's nice because it can get in these tightest grooves. There's not much room between the spokes on this wheel, so having one of these really makes the job effortless. So all these places so far I like to do before actually washing the vehicle normally. That way, anytime I have any of this extra dirt that's been pushed out, you can wash it away with a normal wash. The next one we're gonna be doing is your door jambs. As you can see, quite a bit of buildup in through here. It's as simple as just taking some trim clean, spray it on here. It's a foaming all-purpose cleaner. So you don't have to worry about that going all over the place. You can really put it where you need it. And honestly, most of the time you can just pressure wash that right off. If it's really stubborn, use a brush. Now these ones are pretty self-explanatory, but let's go back to the back hatch where on SUVs, you really get a lot of grime buildup back in here. And it's gonna be a real pain in the butt to clean because if you're trying to pressure wash this, Obviously, you're getting water everywhere in the plastics all around. If you're not really precise with it, it's kind of tough to do, but there's a couple quick tricks of the trade to do that. I like to get all-purpose cleaner, spray it up in this jam. All this dirt builds up in here because it kind of comes down the tracks from the roof of the SUV and just ends up depositing down in here. And eventually that runs down the side of the vehicle, come all the way down over the back bumper, and then typically we leave a streak that comes down over the side here when it gets enough buildup. So quick pre-treat that with the Trim Clean all-purpose foaming cleaner here. All right, now one of the tricks of the trades, rather than just spray this in here, you're gonna get water everywhere. I mean, you can if you're gonna be doing full interior detail and extracting and drying it out. But if you're not planning on doing that, just shut the door and we're gonna access it the same way that dirt got there. Just gonna go through the top here. Now be careful, this has a rubber tip on here so we're not scratching the paint, but if you don't, just use your head, make sure you're not scratching your paint doing this. But you're just gonna spray the water stream right down through the crack there. We're gonna do that on both sides. Now open that back up here. From a regularly dirty kind of vehicle, that should be just fine. But if it's really caked on there, like you can see these kind of areas, that's where we would want to come through with a brush, scrub those. That way, because this has a seal right here, so the water's not gonna be able to hit that. So we'll scrub those areas, that way just the water running through can wash that dirt away. All right, so this one has a lot of extra grime buildup in there. So we went through, resprayed it with the Trim Clean and it just agitated it with a brush. So now that it's all been agitated and cleaned, when we go back, rinse it again, it should just wash all that free. All right, and the final step when you're doing your wheel or your door jams here, after you got it all nice and clean, I usually just like to go through, wipe it down with a dry microfiber, gets it all nice and clean, and then also just takes away any kind of like residues or any spots you might have missed. So try that out. It might prevent you from having that runoff of that dirt, leaving streaks on your fresh, clean car. All right, so the last two commonly missed areas, we're gonna rapid fire at you because we have in-depth videos on how to do them. It's a little bit more of a job. Check underneath your hood. As you can see, in just a couple months, they get pretty filthy. Moving on to the final one, the wiper blades here. Cleaning those edges of each side of the wiper blade not only extends the life of the wipers, but it can really help in their visibility while driving in rain. So we'll link both those videos in the description below. That's all there is for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.